It's that time again. Is the microphone on? I think it should be. Is it on? Yo, David, can you hear everything okay? Is it good? I think so. I think it should be okay. Let me know if no audio. Yo. Okay, cool. Awesome. It's another rockin' Sunday night and time for another live. I think it's all good. Yeah, it's all good. Yeah. I'll probably keep this one a little bit short because I don't have to rant for very long about this one. Anyway, I thought I'd do this one about accommodation. Now, David, I don't know your experience of the Philippines yet. Have you been to the Philippines for a long time, or what's the story? You got a lot of experience living there, or you just been visiting before, or what's the case? But anyway, I've got to explain this like somebody else is listening, and I don't know whether they've lived in the Philippines or not before, or they could have just visited, or they haven't been before, or anything like that. So anyway, I'll talk about this because this is something quite important, and this is something based on my own experience as well, and the experience that I've seen from other expats. And this is something that really fucks up a lot of expats, and it's sort of something that once you go down the rabbit hole, it's very hard to come back from, and you'll know why after I explain this stuff. So, I mean, let's just take the classic example. The dude has been talking to his Filipina online, right? And the day comes, he visits her, and they go away and do the resort thing, and then a holiday, and all the yada yada yada. And then he's in a position, everything's pretty cool. I'll move to the Philippines. I mean, so what's the classic example? He's got to move to the Philippines, probably sell up his stuff or put it in storage or whatever, and arrive in the Philippines. He's probably going to stay in a hotel for a little while and then look for somewhere to live. This is where it starts to sometimes fuck up a lot, because he'll arrive in the Philippines. He'll be like to his Filipina, okay, let's go and find a house. I can't build one, of course, tomorrow, so let's rent one. But still, this applies to either you're renting or you're going to build or whatever. The same shit essentially is going to happen, right? So, but hang on a minute. Let's just before I get on with this, how about we just describe what's the culture of the Philippines first, because this will put everything into a little bit of perspective. So, what's the first concept? Poverty, no money. No money for just about everything. You'd have some families live, for example, in a bamboo hut, maybe one room. The floor's bamboo, the walls are bamboo. Maybe they're lucky to have a tin roof, and then you get some of them in the middle class, which have been able to build a concrete house or something like that. And then you get the other ones in the other extremes, which have got quite a bit of money, and they're able to build a reasonably good house, but we're going to focus on the lower and middle class, really, because I think this applies mostly to the lower and middle class. So we're talking about the bamboo huts and the concrete houses that you get over there. So, I mean, if you don't know much about Philippine culture, well, you can just imagine, you put everything into perspective where you've got a bunch of people, which of course, they're in a state of poverty there. There's not a hell of a lot of money. It's hard to make money. It's just hard to build up that wealth there. It can be very difficult. So the family culture is like everybody needs to basically support everybody else. If somebody's doing well, it's sort of an understood thing in the Philippines that when you're doing well, especially if you've been working overseas or whatever, you need to give back to your family, right? Your family's going to expect that. So you might have one or two OFWs, overseas Filipino workers working overseas, and they're sending money back home, and essentially that's supporting probably a big chunk of the family, the immediate family, and perhaps even some of the extended family as well, right? So, things can be quite difficult, and in a lot of cases, a lot of Philippine families will tend to live together. They'll share accommodation. Sometimes you'll get whole families living together, especially the elderly grandparents. That's quite common as well. And if somebody has their own place, they'll generally take in an extended family member to be with them, so that extended family member does not have to pay for additional accommodation. They're always looking for ways to save money for their living arrangements. If somebody can save money by not having to pay rent, by living with somebody else in the family, they'll do it. And they'll all generally recognize that that's a good thing, because, of course, if you don't have to pay so much money, and you haven't got much money, then you're going to have a little bit more leftover money, right? Which will make living just a little bit better. So that's quite common, right? It's like a family dynamic where everybody has an understanding, a transparent understanding about everybody sort of tries to support everybody else. So that can cause a lot of problems too. But so that's basically the default culture in the Philippines. Not only just the Philippines, that's other countries as well, right? Other third world countries. So anyway, let's get back to our little story. So you're the expat, and you've come to the Philippines, and you've got your Filipina, and probably highly likely when you meet her, she's probably living somewhere close to her family, because that's what they tend to do. They tend to stick together as a family unit, and in order to be able to help each other a bit easier compared to traveling quite a lot of distance to help each other. So generally, I like to stick together. So anyway, if you get to the Philippines and you're looking around places to rent, you'll probably be visiting her family in her area. So the discussion will come up, well, where should we find a place to rent? And she'll be most likely going to put up her hand and say, well, it's quite important to me that I can see my family. So can we look for somewhere close to where my family lives, right? In the same, not necessarily the same barangay, but the same sort of region or area, so that she's able to commute to see them easily, right? You might be talking about a couple of tricycle rides, or a couple of jeepney rides, or a couple of bus rides, etc., right? But generally not too far. And that's the way they like it, because again, when you don't have to travel very far to see your family, of course, it's saving money, right? They don't need to book a plane ticket. They don't need to travel on the bus for like a day or 2 days or whatever, which is going to cost a lot compared to half an hour trip right across town to visit the family. So the close proximity is going to be something that she is probably going to say to you, hey, I don't want to move too far away from them, because I want to be able to see my family, quite regularly. So you'll be like, yeah, well, that kind of makes sense. Yeah, I agree with that. And as an expat, you'll probably be thinking, well, if I want to keep her happy, that's probably something I need to do as well. So you'll probably find yourself agreeing with that. So you probably go and search around, and you'll be looking for places that sort of around the area, and you'll probably find something, I'm sure. And the next decision will be how much of a large sort of place do I need, actually? And you'll probably have a budget. You are probably, well, it depends on your age, right? I mean, if you're middle-aged, then you might be getting a monthly income from a business or some other means, or if you're a bit older, it's probably going to be from a pension. So you're probably going to have a budget to have to deal with, and you'll have an idea about how much you could probably spend, right? So, but generally, you'll find in the Philippines, accommodation is incredibly cheap compared to other Western countries. So in most cases, you'll probably be quite surprised if you end up getting a 1 or 2 bedroom place. It would be many, many times cheaper than what you'll get probably in your own country. So anyway, that'll be all good. You'll probably select a place, 1 or 2 bedrooms, and you'll probably be like, well, 1 bedroom for us, and then I'll convert 1 bedroom into an office or something like that. You'll think that's probably a really good idea. You can put all your junk in the spare room, your computer, you can set that up. You can set up your office, or if you need to work remotely, you can do that. That's probably a good solution. And as I say, you probably won't be paying so much money. But this is when the problems start to happen. What I've noticed with other expats, right? They'll get in a position when they move in. You're with her, you're living with her. Her family are probably some short distance away. Everything's set up. You're starting your life together, etc. And then, of course, her family will want to come and see where she lives, and her family will probably want to come over and have meals and stuff like that. She'll probably invite them over to a housewarming. Let's all get together and have some meals and things like that, have some food, and the family will bring food and stuff like that. They'll come over, and you'll have a ball. You think, oh, this is good. Everybody's happy. She's happy. She's able to connect with her family. You'll be happy to see her being happy to connect with her family. But the thing is, what normally happens, though, is the family looks at this, and like I explained before, they will be looking at opportunities, right? They'll see, well, you've got like a 1 or 2 bedroom place, and they'll be asking questions when they come around. Oh, how big is the place? So you've got 1 bedroom, so you've got 2 bedrooms. What's the other bedroom for? And you'll be like, well, it's just an office. I just use that for the computer and storage and things like that. And they'll be thinking, so nobody's sleeping in there? And you'll be like, no. It's completely, like, virtually empty. There's no bed in there. There's nobody sleeps in there. It's just that we're sleeping in the other bedroom. And of course, like I've explained the culture before, they'll be looking for opportunities. They'll be like, well, to them, that will be like a huge waste in their mind. They'll be, well, you've got a bedroom, but nobody's sleeping in there. So this is when things start to escalate. They'll see the opportunity, right? So probably one of them will be maybe paying rent somewhere, maybe their own place, or maybe they're all living together, and living together is quite difficult generally, right? When you've got lots of people living together. So they'll be thinking, well, if there's any opportunity to move out, we can reduce the number of people living there, and maybe somebody can live somewhere a little bit isolated from the rest of the family. Of course, they'll love that. So guarantee what will happen next is one of her family will have a quiet word with her, and they'll be like, well, you've got a spare bedroom. Would it be possible for me to move in? And depending what kind of expat you are, whether you are a typically a weak motherfucker, is what I'm saying, or you've got boundaries. You're either weak or you've got boundaries. Now, most guys that go over there will be in a frame of mind of trying to please their Filipino as much as possible, which a lot of them tend to put their Filipino on a pedestal a lot of the time. So whenever a question of something comes around, often the expat will be like, well, if I say yes, that'll make her happy, and then our relationship should be good, right? That's the thinking a lot of the time. But then a lot of guys don't set boundaries. I mean, they're not thinking about the boundary when they move in. It's like, well, what is the purpose of this 2-bedroom room? Well, do we have a boundary? Do we have any rules for that? Of course, it's for the both of us, but what are the boundaries? What are the rules about having somebody else around staying? If you don't sort that out with your if you don't have a conversation with her before you move in about this, she will be thinking automatically that she needs to provide something to her family, and that will probably involve the spare room, right? So it's a real danger. If there's what I want to emphasize is there is certain communications that you've got to have. There's certain discussions you've got to have before you go through these stages, especially if you move in somewhere. And if you have that conversation with her, you say to her, well, this is where we live. And me as the foreigner, I'm the one that's paying for this. So I'm generally thinking that, we can make the rules together, but you have to remember, I'm the one paying for this place. So I sort of get to make the rules. But then you get the other weak motherfuckers that won't have any rules whatsoever. And they'll just let their Filipino do whatever the hell she wants because they're too fucking weak to say no. And they just want to make her happy. And this is where a lot of expats get fucked up, and they start to get down that rabbit hole of letting things get out of control, and that can escalate really fast. Especially when you've got a family that's looking for opportunities, right, to exploit the usage of something that you've got that you're not using. So it's the same theme. If you go on YouTube and you go and read a lot of these expat stories, you'll find the theme. It repeats itself absolutely everywhere. The guy moves in, he sets up a new life, he's got his Filipina. All of a sudden, the family starts to invade the fucking house, and it starts with like a casual get together, a dinner or whatever, and then they like the place. It's probably better than their bamboo hut that they live in, so they would rather be in your house than their house. Not only that, you're probably paying for food, utilities, and everything else, so you'll come across to them as having an abundance of food and resources, which they might not have a lot of. So you can see where this is going, right? They are probably going to be wanting to spend more and more time at your place. So think about it. If you don't have boundaries with your Filipina, for example, you say to her, look, it's okay for your family to come around once in a while. Okay, let's talk about what once in a while means. Does that mean every day? Does it mean every 3 days? Does it mean once a week? What does it mean? If you don't specify any of that with her, she'll just think it's a free-for-all. She'll just think that she can invite them around whenever she wants and for how long she wants as well. So with them, it's like it's like this. If you give an inch, they take a mile. And especially when they're in a position of not having too much, if you provide an inch, they'll take more than an inch. They'll take a mile. It's the same thing, as the saying goes, right? It happens in the majority of cases. For example, let's just say you're living together. Her sister or her cousin looks at the spare room and says, I'm paying for rent at the moment to stay somewhere, but how about I stay at your place because I won't have to pay any rent? So her sister will talk to her and she'll be like, well, why am I paying rent? You've got a spare room. Can I not just move into your place and I don't have to pay rent? And then your Filipina is going to be thinking, well, that's a good idea because then my sister doesn't have to pay rent. She'll have more money. so she'll be better off, so she'll be happier, and she will look like she's helping your family. So to her, it's all good. Now, if you don't have these boundaries and these agreements at the beginning about these sorts of things, and you're a weak simp motherfucker, you'll just be like, sure, honey, bring around whoever you want. Let them stay for as long as they want. Or you might have the misunderstanding. She might be manipulating the situation. She might just say, look, my sister just needs to stay with us for 3 days or a week. But you know what's going to happen? After the 3 days or a week is up, guess who's going to still be there? Of course, the sister's still going to be there, because the real intention is not just to have a temporary stay. The intention is to have a long-term stay. It's just your Filipina tells you it's a short term because it's easier. She knows it's easier for you to initially accept that, right? It's like she knows you're thinking, that's not too bad. I can deal with that. You know, she's going to be gone in 3 days or a week. That's no problem. But what's the genuine reason? The genuine reason will probably be it's a long-term goal, because she's going to be wanting to save her sister money long-term, not short-term. So this is where you get this conflict, and it happens all the time. You'll get overstayers of the family. After a while, you'll get confused. You'll be like to her, I thought your sister was staying for a week. And she'll be trying to make excuses. No, she can't find anywhere at the moment. She just needs a little bit longer. Maybe she's looking for a job or whatever. The excuses will come from here, there, and fucking everywhere. They always do. And she'll give you excuses. She'll make you probably feel guilty about not wanting her sister to stay. And if you're a pussy pleaser, which a lot of guys are, you'll probably find it very difficult to tell her to kick her sister out, because you know that won't go down very well. So what you're going to do? Well, you just have to continue to agree. So again, this is where the boundaries get pushed out and pushed out and pushed out. And before you know, the sister's been living there for 1 month, 2 months, 3 months, or even possibly longer. And remember, maybe your rent hasn't changed with the sister living there. But guess what else has changed while she's been there? She probably hasn't paid for the food that you've provided. She probably hasn't paid any money for the electricity or the water or anything else that increases. So who gets to pay for everything? The foreigner, right? Because at the beginning, you're thinking, well, no, I don't mind paying some extra money for food and utilities for the sister, because my understanding is that she's only going to be here for a short time. All right, so you'll probably be okay with that. I mean, what's a week's extra groceries or whatever? You know, it's not much. You know, you can live with that. It's no big problem. But you know, once it starts to extend out and keeps going, and you continue to get the excuses, and you continue to have to agree with it, it just comes down to exploitation after a while. And this is why sometimes I have a lot of problems with certain kinds of Filipinas, because often that they know the game they're playing, and the game is her family's more important than you, but she's not going to tell you that. So she's not going to be worried about whether you're having problems with continuing to pay extra money for the sister. She's going to be worried about her family. So there probably will be a lack of concern from her towards you, because if she raises concerns of you, then that's possibly going to push you towards not agreeing with what she wants. So she's not going to bring up the issue with you very much. She's just going to ask you once in a while, especially if you initially raise it, like, hey, it's been like 3 weeks now. Your sister's still here? What's the story? I thought she's going to move out. She's going to think about it and think, do I have an excuse to tell you? No, if I don't, I'll quickly make one up in my head. maybe I'll reuse the excuse that I used a week ago. No, my sister can't move out. She still hasn't found a job. After a while, to any normal human being, you're gonna get pissed off after a while, right? The problem is, if you're a pussy pleaser, you're probably not going to want to be angry. You're probably not going to want to be disagreeable to your Filipino, and you'll probably keep a lot of the shit inside, right? You won't express it so much because you won't want to express that you're unhappy, you're angry with it, because that won't go down too well. It can cause a rift with her. It can cause a rift in your relationship. So you're going to essentially ask the question, get the excuse, but keep your mouth shut. While at the same time, inside you're like, motherfucker, what the fuck is up with this, right? You're going to feel under a level of control over this. And what the hell can you do about it? Probably you just continue to ask and you continue to receive the same fucking excuses. All the while, the time's going to go on and on and on and on and on. And likely nothing's going to change. Normally what happens, you might get the situation where the sister moves in and then she's like, well, can I also, is my boyfriend allowed to come around as well and stay? And in the beginning, you'll be like, because you're not going to be staying for long, maybe I won't have a problem with the boyfriend coming around as well. So in some situations, it just won't be one person, it could be two. And what will the boyfriend do? Well, the boyfriend needs to eat and do everything that everybody else needs to do as well. So he'll be hungry. So you'll end up paying for 4 people instead of 2. Or maybe you thought you needed to pay for 3 people at the beginning for a short time. All of a sudden, we've gone from 3 people to 4 people. And shit can still escalate from that too. She might be like, my other sister, she's got an emergency. She's had a fight with her boyfriend. Boyfriend's kicked her out. She's got nowhere to live as well. So again, it's sometimes it's a case of giving another inch and they're going to take another mile. So this is the point I'm getting at, is that you need to set some boundaries at the beginning, right? You might agree with her, look, I'm happy with one person to stay, but let's agree to a maximum amount of time, because probably I'm not going to feel too good if they go over that period of time. It's going to start to fucking annoy me. I'm going to get fucking grumpy at you. I'm going to start feeling pissed off. It's going to start affecting our relationship. So, you've got to have these boundaries, not only for the rules, but to safeguard the relationship you're in as well. Because if other people are doing shit and it's affecting your relationship, that's not fair. And she should really be aware of this as well. But it's no good being a fucking agreeable arsehole all the time as well, because every time you say yes, 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 because some of these motherfucking expats, all they can do when they go to the Philippines is say yes. Some of them have got no fucking ability to say no to nothing. And the more you agree to, the more she thinks she can manipulate you with, and it just grows and grows. So I guess the message I would want to get across to a lot of expats which haven't gone to the Philippines yet is you've got to have these boundaries for yourself. You've got to have the ability to say no. And you've got to understand, if you're the kind of guy, if you're a yes guy, you go to the Philippines, you're going to be fucking burnt. You're going to be ruined in a short period of time. You're going to go spiraling out of control because you'll be wanting to please her via her proxy family, right? Via the whole fucking network after a while. You'll be a people pleaser. You'll want to be pleasing everybody at your own expense. And that can come down to deteriorating your financial abilities, your monthly income. Maybe you can't do the things that you wanted to do. It can come at the detriment of your relationship with her, because you can have a lot of built up resentment, built up anger that you're not expressing, and that's not particularly healthy. As well, you'll be not also perhaps communicating in a complete way with her, so you'll be holding a lot of shit back, and that'll piss you off. And suddenly your whole fucking relationship becomes dysfunctional because you're not able to express to her what you're really thinking. You can't say to her, "Oh, look, I'm pissed off. Your sister needs to fucking go." Why? You might be too fucking scared that you're going to lose your relationship over that shit. Some guys, I get the impression a lot of these motherfuckers that go there, the yes guys, that's their primary concern. If I fucking say no to her, suddenly the whole fucking relationship is going to be over. That's the anger I get from some of them, right? The fucking simps, the fucking mega simps. It's like they're so fucking insecure that they would never fucking say no. And my message to these guys is, hey, if you have a Filipina who can't accept you saying no about something and sticking with it, then you've picked the wrong one. You shouldn't have a Filipina that only wants to hear yes. If she can't fucking stand hearing no from you, then that comes down to her personality. It comes down to her attitude. So, motherfucker, you picked the wrong one. Because in a normal, healthy relationship, it should be on your part and her part. You should be able to say, no, I don't agree with that. And the other person should be able to appreciate that, respect that. If they don't fucking respect that and give you shit for it, there you go. Lack of fucking respect, bad fucking attitude. You need to kick that bitch to the curb. But a lot of these guys think if they kick her to the curb, they're not going to get another one. I mean, motherfucker, there's, like I've said this before, how many single Filipinas are there in the Philippines? There's fucking tens and tens of millions of them. You walk down the street when you get there or off the plane, you turn around the corner and I guarantee there's one there standing there. And what does she want? She probably wants a foreigner. She probably wants a regular income. She probably wants a relationship that's stable. They're fucking everywhere. And if you've been to the Philippines before, you should know this. There's an endless supply of them over there. If you go to the Philippines and you can't find one, the problem will be you, not the Philippines. It's like these sad fucking these YouTubers on the Philippines community. Some of them they go to the Philippines and they complain in their video, "Oh, I can't find anybody." Motherfucker, they're everywhere. There's a huge difference between the Philippines and your country. In the Philippines, they're standing on the street. They'll be like, "Hi, hey, how's it going?" In your country, they won't speak a motherfucking word to you, right? You're walking down the street. The Philippines, they're fucking everywhere. Hey, Joe, fucking everywhere. There's no doubt you're going to have multiple conversations with them. If you just walk down the street and you say hello to them, it'll escalate into another conversation. You'll start talking about shit. It could fucking happen every day of the week. No problem at all. So I don't know what these guys are thinking, that if they say no to their Filipina and their Filipina doesn't like it, they kick them to the curb. They think they're not going to be able to find another one. It's like, what the fuck, man? Open your eyes. You're in the Philippines. You're in a country where there is a lot of women wanting your money, wanting your lifestyle, and they will bend over backwards, literally, to get that. And there's a lot of jealousy that happens there as well. You go out in the Philippines with your Filipina, there's a lot of Filipinas that are going to look at you and look at her, and they're going to be jealous of her because they'll be thinking, she's got a foreigner. She's, the foreigner's got cash. He's got cash every month. He's spending cash on her. That's what they want. Of course they fucking want that. So it's like me as well. Like when I've been out with Filipinas in the Philippines, they're all looking at me. They're all looking at her. But most of their thoughts are jealousy of her, right? They might not be looking at me thinking that I'm so fucking wonderful, but they're certainly going to be looking at her and thinking, wow, she's so lucky. She's got a foreigner. And if you talk to them there, if you talk to one and what they've said to their friends, it's the same thing. They'll talk to their friends and say, well, gee, my friend has a foreigner now. She's so lucky. That's just what they talk about. The conversation is oriented a lot between them about who's got a foreigner now, meaning who's well off, who's got more money, who's got a better life. So anyway, let me get back to what I was saying before. And what the fuck was that? Yeah, the boundaries. So even if you're in that situation now and you've been a yes guy, you've made the mistake of putting her on the pedestal and basically giving her everything that she's ever wanted. I've got to say, still not healthy. You've got to stop right now and you've got to have a conversation with her and say to her, look, this is what I really think about it. I don't feel very good about giving you absolutely everything, because it starts to feel a little bit transactional after a while. It's you're screwing me, and in return I'm giving you money. So you got to have that conversation. And if you've got a lot of built up anger, resentment, you've got to get that shit out, and you've got to tell her, hey, look, it really pissed me off. Your family stayed for an extended amount of time. I thought it was only going to be a short time. It ended up being 2 months or 3 months or longer or whatever the fuck. It's not what I expected. But you also got to take the blame as well. If you haven't communicated the boundaries at the beginning, you have contributed to that shit at the same time, because you haven't given her any indication of what your boundaries are. So again, this is what I'm saying. It's so important. You've got to talk about these boundaries at the very beginning, because she can't come back to you later on and say, well, you never told me that. If you do that at the very beginning and you get her agreement, her understanding, she can't come back and say, well, I didn't know anything about it. I just asked you and you said yes. So, but shit can get worse. For example, for some expats, sometimes it's quite common, not only for the sister and the boyfriend to end up staying. Sometimes the expat is loaded with the whole fucking family moving in. And I don't know about you, but back in our country, when we're cohabitating with a woman, we generally not surrounded by the family. Comes down to our expectations about privacy, having our space, just having an environment that we feel comfortable with. But at the same time, you've got to realize that in the Philippines, when they don't have a lot of money, they have to live together. So the privacy, they can't. The price of poverty often is a lack of privacy. For example, you'll get the poor ones living in bamboo huts. Maybe it might be one room, it might be 2 rooms. So you get the whole family sleeping in 1 or 2 rooms. Often there won't be a lot of separation between the rooms. So the expense of that is it's not only that they're poor, they have a lack of privacy. And when you can't make a lot of noise screwing somebody next door, because the whole family's going to hear it, right? Not very good letting the whole family hear you're fucking humping away, right? So I mean, that's not fucking good. So that's why they've got these short-time hotels in the Philippines. You know, you can go and pay for a room for 1 or 2 hours, right? It's not only for the husband and the mistress, but it can also be for the mother and father to get away sometimes and have a room to themselves, which often is not the case. They have to sleep with the kids, with the grandparents, all in one room. So it can be quite difficult, right? Another thing too that I discovered not too long ago is what goes with that also is often the families will have a rule about when everybody has to sleep, because the problem is if you get everybody sleeping in one room and people are going to sleep at different times, it's going to interrupt the people. You know, if somebody wants to sleep later on and somebody else wants to sleep early, they can't sleep because the other ones are still up and doing shit. So you'll have additional rules as well, lack of privacy and additional rules. It's like, oh, everybody needs to sleep at 10 o'clock, regardless. You can't fucking go out. You can't come back late because you're going to disturb the family, right? So there's lots of shit like that as well. So, you know, and especially the case if you get her family moving in to your small place, and you don't get a larger place, which maybe you can't even afford, suddenly you've got her family sleeping in the lounge, even possibly sleeping in your room. So good luck with trying to screw your Filipino whenever you want, or good luck with walking around the house with nothing on, because you can't do that shit anymore. Otherwise, the grandmother might take one look at you and drop down fucking dead from fright. You don't fucking want that. So, you know, you got to be careful, and it just doesn't fucking work. I think a lot of guys are living in that kind of situation. They haven't communicated these boundaries, like I've said before, and they've got her whole family living with them in a small place. The family is often taking advantage of the utilities, the food, the whole thing. They're not contributing. Like in the case of, if you've watched Fiddy in the Philippines, he's a good example, right? Watch Fiddy in the Philippines. He's got a place, you know, he's got his own house. If you've been watching his channel, he's got that, he's got his wife there. He's got lots of young girls living in the house as well. But not only that, on the land, there's like a lot of them have set up their own little houses there. And there's probably, I don't know, outside there's probably about 12 or so, or up to 20 people in total living on the whole property. He claims that they're all helping to help to pay for shit, but you know, sometimes you can't believe that shit either, because if you know Filipinos, they're very good at coming up with excuses. Oh, no money, haven't been working, no money. So what the fuck are you going to do as a foreigner when they come at you and say, oh, I've got no money to help? Well, of course, you just have to fucking pay it, right? So again, that's no fucking good. So, you know, it can get really fucking bad really fucking quickly through this cross-cultural incompatibility, plus when you add no communication, no boundaries with it as well, it can get real fucking bad. Suddenly, you know, before you thought you'd have to be paying for 2 people, and you fucking end up paying for the whole family. 10 people, 12 people, 14 people are in your fucking house. And this is the problem. This is the rabbit hole you go down. More people come, more people stay, more people don't fucking leave. And you get to such a stage where you've got, like, say, 10 people in the house that are now living there permanently. And good fucking luck to you telling your Filipina to ask her family to move out, because she won't be able to do that. She won't be able to say to her grandparents, look, my boyfriend, my husband is not happy with you staying anymore. You'll have to move out. Your grandparents will be like, we've got nowhere to go. We've got no money. You'll put her in a position of like insane impossibility. It just won't be possible to change. That's what it will come down to. So to reverse this will be absolutely fucking impossible. Once you've got a certain number of people in there, good luck to you trying to convince anybody to move out. And it won't fucking happen. Another reason too, you ask your Filipina like in a proxy, you're asking her to ask your family like that instead of asking them directly by respectful means, right? You're asking through her rather than direct, because sometimes there's the communication language problem as well. If you ask her to tell them to move out, she's going to look pretty bad. She's going to look to her family like she's kicking them out. It's her decision. That shit won't go down well either. Because like I've mentioned before, the whole thing about the family dynamic is everybody needs to help everybody. That's the rule. There's no exception to that. Kicking somebody else, kicking a family member out is basically something that she couldn't do. She probably wouldn't hear the end of it either if she did it. So to her, that would just be impossible to do. So essentially, you're going to be stuck with that situation. You're going to be ending up supporting her whole family in your house, and there'll be no possibility of asking anybody to fucking move out. They'll all be dependent on you for paying for the food, the extra utilities. They might even be coming at you asking for loans, which they won't be able to pay back. And the problems will be in your house. So good fucking luck with that. No privacy for you. No fucking sex life ever again, because they'll be hanging around all the time. You won't have the privacy and the opportunity to screw anymore. All their problems will be at their front door to you every fucking day. Haven't got enough money. Can you give me some money? Oh, something emergency happened. You know, everything will be in your fucking house. After a while, you'll fucking go insane. That's what it's going to come down to. And what would be the only thing that you could do in that situation? Basically leave. And if you can't negotiate with her about a family, well, then maybe you'll just have to break up with her as well. So, you know, there's a lot of consequence when you don't do things right, you don't communicate right, you don't have those boundaries, and you're a fucking yes man, and you're putting your Filipina on a fucking pedestal as well. You're doing every fucking thing for her. You're never fucking saying no because you're so fucking insecure about losing her, because you're fucking stupid about not being able to remind yourself there is tens and tens of fucking other fucking Filipinas out there that you could have another relationship with. So a lot of the shit most of these fucking guys just don't get, you know. I don't know why. Maybe when they land there on the plane, their eyes are just so fucking shut. You need to fucking open your eyes to fucking reality. That's my suggestion, right? You need to have those rules, those boundaries. You need to explain to her, look, if I end up supporting your whole fucking family and letting your family stay in this house, it's going to be to the detriment of our relationship. And guess what's going to happen? I'm going to leave your ass. I'm not going to support you or them anymore. And I'll be back to square one and trying to find another Filipina to have another relationship with. It's going to go down the fucking drain pretty fucking quick. And, you know, if you watch a lot of these YouTubers as well, the ones that have been around for a while, a couple of them have been through this situation where the incompatibilities with the culture has eventually crumbled the whole motherfucking thing. There's a couple of them that have, you know, they've broken up, and you know, the guy's been by himself again, single again, and he's moved out, or he's lost his whole investment of the relationship. Not only the relationship, all the fucking money he spent at the beginning on her, all for all the shit that he's brought her by not being able to say fucking no ever, even once. And And then you get these fucking idiots that have gone to the Philippines and built these houses. So what? He has to walk away from the fucking house as well. He's put all this money into this relationship, and then the family's exploited everything and basically fucking ruined the relationship at the same time. And he can't change anything, so he has to leave and walk away from everything that he's done. Complete fucking waste of money, complete fucking waste of time. And I'm sure extremely emotionally torturing at the same time. So if you want to go and do this your own way and not contemplate these kinds of things, and you're quite happy with the damage that it can cause later on, then go ahead, do it. But my fucking message is before you step on that plane and go to the Philippines, before you move in with her, have a good think about these things, or watch more videos on YouTube, or take more advice from guys that have experience in this. Ask other expats before you get there what problems they encountered. And don't just listen to them. Study what they're saying. Study the cases that are available on YouTube, what other expats, the stories that they've told. Don't just listen to the story. Try and think about what has been the cause of it. What's been the background cause of the main problems, right? And this should stand out to you. Having a lack of boundaries, being a yes guy, right? Putting her on a fucking pedestal, meaning, you know, you're putting her above you, which is another fucking mistake that I've talked about before, where your attitude is you're trying to please her over pleasing you. Big motherfucking mistake. The correct way you do shit is you please yourself first. You look at her as being somebody who tags along with your life. She's not your fucking life. Don't make her your whole fucking life, right? Otherwise, you're going to be putting her on a pedestal. You're going to be pleasing her first and you second. That's where the fucking trouble starts. The correct attitude is you're the motherfucking king. You please yourself. You make sure you take care of number one, yourself, because no other motherfucker's going to do that when you break up, right? You take care of yourself first. You look after yourself first. She is a tag along. She's along with you for the ride. She's not the big picture. She's not the fucking goddess that you bow down to every fucking day and worship. That's not the fucking way to do it. Women as well, they notice this kind of shit too. If you're the motherfucker that bows down to them and says yes to them about every fucking thing, what do you think they learn? This is the way it is. He's here to please me. He's here to say yes to fucking everything. That's not going to go fucking well either, right? But this is the fucking mistake a lot of these expats are doing. And this is where the fucking simp term comes from, right? It's all these fucking idiots that are putting the importance of the Filipina first above themselves. And then eventually it turns to shit because it elevates her attitude. It elevates her ego. She thinks she's fucking number one. She starts to fucking disrespect the guy because you've taught her that she's above you by you acting like this. You've never given her any boundaries to stay within. You've essentially saying, whatever you want, I'll give to you. Whatever you want to do, it's fine with me. How else can she fucking think when you do that? It's like, when you have children, you've got to put boundaries with your children as well. Otherwise, they'll turn out to be fucking spoiled little pricks after a while. You've got to have a set of boundaries for them. And it's not only good for their upbringing, it's good for their character when they get older. They can't realize they can't have every fucking thing that they want. The same thing applies to a Filipina. She's got to fucking learn that you're not going to fucking say yes all the time to her. There's going to be some times where you say no, but you've also, with the no, you've got to tell her the reasons why as well. That's fair. Not just fucking say no. Because females, you say no to them without a reason, they'll go fucking berserk. But if you can have a logical fucking conversation with them, you can say, no, I can't give you this because there are some legitimate reasons why. They're more likely to accept that and not go fucking berserk. As long as you back that up with good enough reasons and they've got a good fucking attitude about it overall, they'll be okay with it. But if you just fucking say yes, you never fucking say no and give any fucking reasons for it, good fucking luck to that. So anyway, what's the fucking time here? I've got an hour now, so that's long enough. I think I've talked about this for long enough. You get the fucking message. I hate fucking the motherfucking Philippine simps out there. There's fucking plenty of them. We all get a good idea of who they are. We can tell, right? The healthy guys out there with the healthy attitudes, they can tell who's a fucking simp on YouTube and who's not. Easily defined. Certainly, I don't have a fucking problem with recognizing them. The only problem is the simps don't realize that they're simps. That's what it is, right? It's like a crazy motherfucker doesn't realize they're crazy. It's the same fucking thing with the simps on YouTube. They don't fucking realize what they're doing is they're fucking ruining everything by being fucking simps. Because the woman's going to fucking turn against them eventually and fucking disrespect them. And one day when they say no, the woman's going to go fucking nuts and they're going to lose the whole fucking thing. So anyway, fuck, enough fucking time. And no, I don't have any photos this week, unfortunately, and there's no other topics. So that's going to be it for this week. I hope somebody learns something from this and it helps somebody. That's the whole fucking goal. And if you're intelligent enough to listen to other people, that's a plus. I think that's the other problem as well with a lot of the expats out there is often they can be quite close-minded. They don't want to listen to experiences of other expats. They don't want to listen to stories. They don't want to learn anything. They just want to do everything how they want to do it. And that's when you get to the situation of the expats being fucking broke and homeless on the fucking streets because they just haven't fucking listened to anybody. They haven't learned anything along the way. They haven't learned to see the red flags. They haven't even tracked sometimes their own budgets. They have no idea about how much fucking money they've spent or how much money they've got left at the bank. They just don't. They haven't done any of that shit. They haven't done a basic budget for their living, right? They're living way beyond their means, and they haven't even fucking realized it until they've completely run out of money. And in some situations, run out of money, the Filipinos are gone. Especially the transactional one. Oh, you've got no money left? See you later. Goodbye. Anyway, thanks for joining, David, again. Appreciate it. That's all for this week. We'll see what I'm going to get up to next Sunday. Maybe have another subject to talk about. And I'm going to try and get the link working as well. So possibly somebody might be able to join. That might be a good idea because I haven't sorted that out. But anyway, thanks a lot for joining. Have a wonderful week. Catch you later.